very good evening to you. Thank you for joining. You're watching Rup-Eng-03-Apr-2013 News.
Hello there, I'm Daphne Charles.
And I'm Ashik Aminuddin. First we take a look at today's headlines. The President says the government has confidence in local industrialists. Sri Lanka enters the high human development category for the first time in history. The Hindu newspaper reveals details of Tamil children whose lives were destroyed by the Tiger organization. The Sri Lanka Bar Association accused of becoming a stooge of the Tamil diaspora and Western groups. North Korea bans entry of South Korean workers to joint industrial park near the border.
On to those and other stories in detail now. The government has focused attention on seeking assistance of local industrialists in implementing large-scale water supply projects. The aim is to complete such projects expeditiously and to provide a quality and prompt service to the people. President Mahinda Rajapaksa made this disclosure when he met a group of private industrialists at Temple Trees in Colombo yesterday. The government is acting with the confidence of local industrialists. The President noted that this will help the country to obtain better results. He added that rural people expect facilities similar to citizens in towns. Therefore, the President said that it is essential to focus attention towards this end. Ministers Sarath Thamanugama, Dinesh Gunawardena and Deputy Minister Nirupama Rajapaksa were present.
Sri Lanka has entered the high human development category according to a report released yesterday by the United Nations Development Programme. The UNDP says that the reason behind this rating given to the nation was the country's development and transparency of the government. The Human Development Report released in Mexico recently was handed over to Foreign Minister Professor G.L. Perez in Colombo yesterday. This report is released annually on 185 countries considering indicators such as economic growth, health, education, literacy and life expectancy. According to the report, China is the second largest economy in the world, surpassing Japan. Countries like India, China and Brazil will consist 40% of the world economy by 2020. According to the report, Sri Lanka's success in the field of health has increased up to 83%. This index in Europe and Central Asia was 45%. Sri Lanka has also gained rapid growth in banking, insurance and information technology in the last quarter. The main reason for this was the direct contribution of the Northeast towards the national economy since the end of the three-decade-old war. The report noted that the government's measures to improve the country's revenue was highly successful.
HDR itself notes the encouraging advances in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's HDI value for 2012 is 0.715. Now, this makes, for the first time, it places Sri Lanka in the category of high human development countries. This is a significant achievement, ladies and gentlemen, and we are very proud to be sharing this information based on very detailed analysis. We should note here that Sri Lanka's own human development gains, despite the protracted internal conflict, are due to the continued social investments in education and health sector in particular. In fact, the 2013 HDR recognizes the development gains to be made where countries are prioritizing human and social welfare.
Foreign Minister Professor G.L. Perez emphasized the importance of integrating the high human development index gained by Sri Lanka for the first time in history and the country's economic development.
If you are talking about making the fruits of development available to the rural population, after all, in countries like Sri Lanka, about 70% of our population live in rural areas. Another absolutely essential condition, in my view, are vibrant democratic institutions at the grassroots level. Very important. Otherwise, the priorities will be wrongly identified. as you focus on rural development, you have to make certain that the projects which you select and what you invest money in is what is really wanted by the people of those areas.
Now, the India Everyday website points out that Indian state governments should not enter into unilateral decisions relating to foreign policy. The website was highlighting the ban imposed by Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha against Sri Lankan cricketers. British Channel 4 telecast several photographs of Tiger leader Vellupillai Prabhakaran's son Balachandran, claiming that he was killed by government forces during humanitarian operations against terrorism. Channel 4 has accused the Sri Lankan government of committing war crimes. Protest demonstrations were launched against Sri Lanka in the state of Tamil Nadu following the telecasting of the video, coinciding with the UN Human Rights Council sessions. The aim of the Tiger-sympathized political groups was to gain political advantage during the upcoming election period. State Chief Minister Jayalalitha has threatened Sri Lankan cricketers not to participate in the IPL tournament. The India Everyday website reiterates that Indian state governments should not be allowed to take such unilateral decisions. The value of exports between Sri Lanka and India exceeds $4.3 billion. It equals to 22% of the country's imports. Several leading companies of India, including Tata, Bajaj, Bharati, Ambuja Cement and Ashok Leyland, are engaged in trade transactions in Sri Lanka. This website questioned as to what would happen to trade if Sri Lanka makes a request to boycott goods produced by Indian companies which employed civilians of the Tamil Nadu state. Sri Lanka and India have had a long-standing relationship. According to historic stories, Sri Lanka's community settlements were launched by a prince who arrived from India in the 5th century BC. A branch of the Sri Mahabodhya brought from India exists for 2,300 years. King Asoka of India sent his 2 children to Sri Lanka to carry out Dhamma propagation activities. The website points out that a few power-crazy politicians should not be allowed to destroy such a historic friendship.
Meanwhile, the Hindu newspaper points out that the time has come to think about hundreds of thousands of Tamil children who destroyed their lives as child soldiers under the grip of the Tiger organization. In an article to the newspaper, journalist P. Jayaram made these observations on demonstrations being carried out by organized groups in Tamil Nadu on the death of the younger son of Prabhakaran. Journalist P. Jayaram in his article noted that he served as an Indian reporter in Sri Lanka during the 1994-95 period, and at that time several areas in the north including Jaffna were under the control of the LTTE. Jayaram stated that he and other journalists had met around 15 to 20 LTTE child soldiers when they toured the Nallur Kandasamy Kovil area. He revealed that many Tamil children who were less than the age of Prabhakaran's younger son Balachandran had been deployed for route patrol armed with AK-47 rifles. He stated that he came to know that these children were not given an opportunity to study in schools. But Jayaram noted that several Tamil civilians told him that the eldest son of Prabhakaran, Charles Anthony, had travelled to school daily in an air-conditioned vehicle. Tamil children clad in military uniforms and rags were deployed for military activities, but the children of Prabhakaran were used to wearing good and valuable clothes and shoes. Jayaram disclosed that parents in the area had made an unsuccessful attempt to prevent the conscription of their children by the Tiger organization. In his article to the Hindu newspaper, he points out that the people conducting protest demonstrations against Sri Lanka should understand this bitter truth and reality.
Several associations of lawyers have accused the Sri Lanka Bar Association of becoming a stooge of the Tamil diaspora and non-governmental organizations with Western links. This allegation was levelled by several lawyers at a media conference held at the SLFI in Colombo today. The media conference was convened to brief journalists on the induction ceremony of the new president of the Bar Association. The induction ceremony of the new president of the Sri Lanka Bar Association, Upu Jayasuriya, was held at the Navarangahala in Colombo recently. According to tradition, previous such ceremonies were held under the patronage of the Chief Justice. But this year, Chief Justice Mohan Pires had not been invited by the new president. This was the first induction ceremony conducted without inviting the Chief Justice during the 39-year history of the Bar Association. But the former Chief Justice, expelled from the post in an impeachment, was invited to the ceremony. Former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga and UNP MPs Karu Jayasuriya and Lakshman Kiryala were among the other distinguished invitees. Representatives of 6 lawyers' associations participated in the media conference today. The Secretary of the Independent Young Lawyers Association, Attorney at Law Manoj Gamage, said the Sri Lanka Bar Association has become a stooge of the opposition, distorting the official ceremony. Such a situation was not expected by lawyers who voted for the new president of the Bar Association. The Deputy Secretary of the Sri Lanka Independent Lawyers Association, Attorney at Law Bangula Vallavala, noted that they have no confidence on any future activities of the association. Attorney at Law Premanath Sri Delvakta of the Sri Lanka Independent Lawyers Association asked if this was a joint front of lawyers or diaspora joint front or else NGO's front. He said that attempts should not be taken to get undue advantage at a time where lawyers are working together in a peaceful manner. Attorney at Law Atula Silva of the Lanka Independent Lawyers Association, Colombo branch, said that the new president of the association is fulfilling the needs of a so-called gang of lawyers joint front working in collaboration with the Tamil diaspora of the LTTE. President of the People's Movement for Justice, Attorney at Law Saman Galapati, said that all judges boycotted the event due to the new president's arbitrary decision. Vice President of the Lanka Independent Lawyers Association, Attorney at Law Buddhika Samarasinghe, pointed out that the present president of the association and his gang has become a stakeholder of a conspiracy being hatched by Western countries. He called upon the lawyers to be committed to form the Independent Bar Association witnessed in the past.
The scroll consisting of the Sinhala Tamil New Year auspicious times was presented to President Mahinda Rajapaksa. This is an annual custom fulfilled by the Ministry of Cultural Affairs. The presentation of the New Year auspicious times took place at Temple Trees in Colombo today. In the ancient times, tom-tom beaters were used to distribute these containing the New Year customs and auspicious times among the people to their doorsteps. Following this ancient tradition, a tom-tom beater presented the New Year auspicious time scroll to the President. Minister T.B.A. Kanayaka was present.
Now, the Electricity Board says that it has to incur a massive loss in supplying electricity at concessionary rates. 94% of the population has been provided with electricity. The CEB says that it has to increase the electricity bill to supply power without a cut and to continue the present subsidy rates. The Ceylon Electricity Board has provided electricity for consumers for decades, giving a huge subsidy. The board has lost 61 billion rupees due to this purpose in 2011 alone. The additional finance manager of the CEB, P.K. Kulatunga, says that the cost of producing a unit of power was 23 rupees. He added that power production cost cannot be covered by the present selling price as a result of the escalation of power production cost. Therefore, it is essential to recover a certain sum of money from consumers to balance the situation. This money is not sufficient to cover the production cost. However, the Ceylon Electricity Board will provide a 26 billion rupee subsidy. According to the new revision, the electricity bill of 1.1 million families using 30 units will be increased to 217 rupees from 142 rupees. 1.3 families are in the group of using 30 to 60 units. A consumer whose electricity bill was around 372 rupees under this segment will have to pay 546 rupees. The government subsidizes this consumer group, spending 11 billion rupees per annum. 1.3 million families are in the group of using electricity units of 61 to 90. A consumer whose monthly electricity bill was 728 rupees has to pay 1,161 rupees under the new revision. The government provides a subsidy for this category, spending 12 billion rupees per annum. 600,000 families who are using 91 to 120 units will have to pay an additional sum of 1,000 rupees. 500,000 families using 121 to 180 units will have to pay an additional sum of 83 rupees and 70 cents daily.
In a turn of events, the service of substitute junior health assistants of Colombo National Hospital has been terminated for having vacated the post without permission after reporting for duty. The Health Ministry says that it has decided to issue the relevant letters of termination of service to them today. A worker attached to the Colombo National Hospital who faced a disciplinary inquiry relating to some wrongdoing was transferred to Ragama Hospital. This transfer was made on the recommendations of the Public Services Commission. Protesting against this action, a group of substitute junior health assistants boycotted duty yesterday. The Health Secretary directed them to report for duty on compulsion today, but they avoided their duties without permission after reporting to work. Patients face severe difficulties due to their behavior. A patient said that it is regrettable as these employees had been engaged in an unnecessary boycott of work due to petty reasons. We cannot obtain any services from the hospital in an emergency. The director of the National Hospital, Dr. Anil Jai Singha, pointed out that one option available for them was to file a case in courts if they are not satisfied with the decision given by the Public Services Commission. The other was to submit an appeal to the Administration Appeal Tribunal. He said that by not following procedure, the action taken by the workers has pushed patients into difficulty.
The government of Myanmar has conferred the honorary degree of Agga Mahapandita on the Venerable Professor Kumburugamue Vajrathera. The Venerable Vajrathera entered the priesthood in 1943 and he was ordained in 1953. He received a special degree on Buddhist culture in 1963. He joined the university staff as a temporary assistant lecturer in 1964 and was subsequently promoted to the post of professor in 1993. He also served as a council consultant on Buddhism and Pali subjects. He is rendering a great service to Buddha Sasana, holding membership of several organizations, including the Sri Lanka-China Friendship Association and All Island Bhikkhu Organization. The 76-year-old Kumburugamue Vajrathera is currently holding the post of Chancellor of the Sabragamua University. The Sahitya Chakravarti honorary degree was conferred on him in the year 2008. The Venerable Vajrathera, who received the Agga Mahapandita honorary degree, returned to the island in the early hours of today. A large number of people, including Buddhist priests, were present at the Katunaika Bandaranaike airport to greet the Venerable Thero.
Meanwhile, doctors say that the daily intake of salt by a person should be less than 5 grams. The Medical Research Institute says that the per capita salt intake per day was 12.5 grams in Sri Lanka. This is the main factor for high blood pressure. Around 36 million people die annually due to high blood pressure. 40% of persons of over 25 years of age suffer from high blood pressure. The high intake of salt was the reason for around 30% of such persons. The theme of the World Health Day that falls on the 7th of April is reducing salt intake to prevent high blood pressure. A seminar for media personnel to highlight the issue was held at the Health Education Bureau in Colombo today. Health Ministry Secretary Dr. Nihal Jayatilaka, Health Services Director General Specialist Dr. Palita Mahipala and the resident representative of the WHO in Sri Lanka Dr. F.R. Mehta were present.
We now move on to details of the Colombo Stock Exchange. North Korea has banned entry of South Korean workers to joint industrial park near the border. Along with this initiative, the war tension in the Korean peninsula has been further escalated. According to media reports, 446 South Korean employees in the K-Zone industrial zone have been deserted. South Korea vows to take any alternate action if there is a threat on security of these workers. 860 South Koreans are working in the industrial zone. 170 South Koreans who were to enter into the zone are in the border to get permission. The K-Zone is operated as a joint trade zone between the two countries since the year 2000. It was considered as the main avenue of revenue of North Korea suffered by sanctions. Meanwhile, it has been reported that F-22 fighter jets of the United States participated in a joint military exercise with South Korea left for Japan today. North Korea vehemently protested against the military exercise. And that's it on the news tonight. Thank you for joining us. Do watch again tomorrow night at the same time. Good night.